Being a small business owner, I learned a lot of things through the years. But one thing in particular stood out as something core that I always followed, and I thought it'd be good to pass it on to anybody out there that's hoping to open a business or is running an existing business. This is one thing that you can't get away from, you shouldn't get away from, and you should really dedicate a lot of time to it because it pays in dividends. It pays 10x, 100x even. And really, what you get out of it can't even be measured. But to give it attention is going to equal lots of success for you. And what I'm talking about is the interviewing and hiring process. The time you spend hiring your staff, interviewing them, training them, and so forth, comes back and pays you in ways that you could never even imagine. It's so important that I had to make a video about it to share what I know, and I hope that you can get something from it. So I just decided to post up here at this resort. They had a nice little shaded area here, and I just thought it might be a good place to film a video. Let's make sure, let's hope I don't get thrown out here though any second. If they do, I respect that, but it won't happen. They're just too nice. They're just too busy being nice out here. So first things first, right? You identify that you have a need for staff, right? Whether it's your first staff member, because you start off small, maybe just yourself or you and your partner, or you open and you know you need like 10, 15 people. Whatever the number is, the situation still exists that you're going to need some help, right? So where do you go look for this help? What do you do, right? Well, I don't advise just hiring any warm body off the street. It is a pitfall. It's always best to screen as many candidates as you can, as time allows, so that you can see the talent that's out there and you could find the right one for you, so you can cherry pick the one that's best suited to help you in your business, not just the person that's available, right? You don't want the person that just needs a job and is available. You've already lowered your standards once you do that. You need to find someone that's going to meet your specific criteria, what you're looking for, somebody that can help you with specific jobs and specific things and positions at your establishment. First off, I want to state that I learned how to stay away from signage in the window. Help wanted looks desperate. You could post one sign that simply says, always looking for good hires, apply within. Kind of shows that you're not really looking at the moment, but if someone's got the gift, you may consider them. If you have a website, it's best to apply there. If not, it's always a good idea to use a service like Indeed. I used to use Craigslist back in the day, and then that just went south. But the one I found most helpful was Indeed. Make sure you use the free one if you're going to go ahead and use Indeed though, because there is a paid one and they will charge you heavily. I've made that mistake a few times where they'll charge you like $25 per application that comes through. And by the time you figure out that you've received, 20 applications, well, do the math. It happened to me. And that's how you learn, right? You learn, you fall forward, you learn, you get up. So I won't be doing that anymore. And I'm passing that information down to you. Hopefully you don't fall into that trap. But get the free one. The free one, it's easy to use, and you put it out there, you fill in your criteria, and you just wait for the applications to come in, the resumes that get posted. And that's where you could really list what you're looking for. Exactly the shift that you want, the hours you're looking for, the experience you want. In fact, at the end, it gives you an option to add a test if you want to do like a math test or a customer service test, something of that nature. And I always did that because I thought if they want this job bad enough, they'll go ahead and go through those steps. It shows initiative, and that's what you want. If you have paper applications, it's always good just to have them on hand. You can print some offline, also some generic ones. It's always good to have a little tray, nice and organized with a pen, a little sign that shows that the applications are right there, and a pen for them to fill it out. In my hiring post, I would often put that they could drop off the application or resume at the business during off-peak hours if they wanted to come and just drop it off to me. And the reason I did that is then I got a chance to meet them face to face, and they got a chance to meet me face to face, and we could have like a mini conversation, which was kind of a precursor to an interview. And then we'd get a chance to talk. And that's where the real value lies, is when you get a chance to talk, you see the person's personality, they feel a little bit more relaxed, and they start to tell you really who they are, what they've done, and that's what you want. So when it comes time for the actual interview, it's really important for you as the business owner to set up the right environment for yourself and for the applicant and prospective employee. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, I would take it seriously. Like, I would arrive early to work, get all my things done, make sure the business was in order, make sure we had a private place to speak where we wouldn't be interrupted, let my staff know that if any phone calls came in for me that I wasn't available, things of that nature. This way you'd have some uninterrupted time with somebody so important that might become a staff member for you, right? And vice versa. You owe it to them to show them who you are because they're looking for a job, and everybody wants a boss, an employer that they feel comfortable with, right? So it's important to have this time together so that you could just show each other who you are. So I would make sure that I always had the right environment. I would make sure that I had a clear table, I had some pens, I had a notepad, I had a notepad for them and a pen in case they wanted to take notes. I would have their resume, their application, a copy on hand so that I can review it beforehand and also with them when they came around. I also made sure that the shop was organized and clean as it always was, but I made sure that nothing was out of line because something I might do with that prospective staff member is walk them through the facility. Oftentimes I would, and I would show them the back rooms, some of the processes being done, the front of the house, which would be clean and organized so that they know when they come in, this is an establishment that has standards because everybody wants to work where things are organized and kept well, right? So I would even talk about it. I would talk about the standards during the interview and I'd be able to show them. So make sure that everything is presentable down to your staff members. Obviously, you have good staff members already. You want to make sure that they're on their A game too, and they're just as pleasing and welcoming as you are. This sets the environment. Again, you run a high level facility. This is your facility, this is your business, and you want everyone to know it. You want everyone to know it, even would-be employees. One thing I always found when I would speak to the employees, I would speak to them for a long time. In fact, I'd have people kind of ridicule me in a good way, employees that I eventually ended up hiring and bringing on board. They would often say to me like, oh my goodness, you spoke so long at the interview. I even went back to tell my family about it or so on and so forth. But it's very important. I found it so important. I'd say that was a very key pivotal point in the whole interviewing process. Spending time, getting to know them, asking them questions about who they are as a person, not just as a prospective employee. We're going to get to the skills. If they got the skills, they've got the skills. Plus, you know, in your facility, most likely you're going to train them to your standards anyway, right? I want to know who they are as individuals, right? Are they honest? Are they loyal? What kind of ethics do they have? These things bring so much value. Plus, you're going to bring them around your customers and your other staff members. So you want to make sure that these employees are not only fit to work in your facility based on their skill set, right? A very specific skill set for your business, whether it be a barista or a chef or whatever it might be. But you want to make sure that they also are going to keep your staff and your business intact. If you hire the wrong person, those things could fall apart. You could suddenly have a disjointed group, or you can have customers that are expecting standard good service and they find that your new hire isn't up to par. And both those things are disappointing. So what I found that would be helpful is I would just ask open-ended questions. What do I mean by open-ended questions? Just I would ask a question that they could answer without just kind of giving me the answer, then done, right? Usually it's just when I was asking them kind of about who they are, how their day is, things of that nature, just general conversation, and they would open up and let you know a little bit more of who they are. So general conversation is always good. At first, just to open it up, soften it up, and then you can get into the nitty gritty. You can look at their resume, look at their application, and you start cherry picking what you want to talk about. You can go in order as a resume states, or you could jump around because some of the jobs might not be relevant necessarily for you, but you can focus in on things that are important for your business. Never make any false promises either. Never make them feel like they're going to get the job, but also don't make them feel like they didn't get the job. Try not to make any rash decisions, on the spot decisions. Think about things. Take the time to think about it. Go home, give it another day or two, and communicate that. Let them know what your intentions are. You can let them know that you're going to look at their resume again, look at your notes, and take time to look at what your needs are and get back to them. And if the fit is right, that you can move forward. Again, you want to make sure that it's right for both parties, right? They're going to get a job and you're going to get a staff member that's going to help your business grow and represent you well. They're looking for a job, you're looking for an applicant, and you're hopefully just trying to close that gap and find that perfect connection. That's what it's all about. I also find it important to take the time to thank them for their time when they've come in to interview with you. I think it's just a class move. You thank them, and hopefully they're thanking you as well. Again, it's a meet and greet. You're exchanging information. Always end on a positive note. However the interview goes, let them know that their time was valued. Let them know that you'll be getting back to them shortly. And stay true to that too. Whether it's a tough decision where you had to say no, you can make that quick and easy and give them a call and let them know. Some people like to send emails. Whatever your choice is, just communicate that you've moved on and wish them luck on their search. Or let them know that you'd like to invite them in for a second interview if you feel like you want to talk to them just a little bit more. Check websites too. There are some questions that you can ask during interviews and ones that you can't, and some that you just plain shouldn't, right? Go ahead, do a quick little Google search. You'll come up with all kinds of things. Once hired, the onboarding process is equally important, right? You've done the scanning through applications, you've screened people, you spent time talking to people, calling people, emailing people, setting up time for the interviewing, and spending all that time to get yourself finally to hiring that employee that you needed, that staff member that's going to take you to the next level. Now what, right? Now it's important to onboard properly. That's another thing you must take time to do. So on day one, before anything else, you must handle all the regulations. There's legal paperwork that needs to be done, like I-9s and W-4 forms, like their tax forms. That's when you want to hand them an employee orientation guide if you have one, and you should have one. Even if it's a very simple one, either come up with one on your own, right? You could dump it into ChatGPT these days and it'll spit one out for you, and get a PDF printout of that and make 10 copies for yourself. It'll save you so much time and so many headaches too if you put it out there. This way, when you onboard them, you can hand it to them and give them the time to read it right there and then. If you tell them to take it home and read it, they won't. They're going to skim through it. Most people will. And then you just won't know. But this way, you can have them look at it and initial the back and ask them if they have any questions, maybe go over a few of the key things within that orientation handbook that allows you to really focus in on certain areas that matter a little bit more to you than not, whether it be dress code, cell phone usage, whatever your sick policy is, whatever your time off requests are, all of that. You can discuss it at that point. This way the message is clear before they even get started, right? And then you can follow up with that, like if you do like a 30-day check with them, 30 days later, ask them if they have any more questions. I would always do like, daily check-ins, especially that first week, maybe a couple of weeks into, as I let them kind of start to spread their wings and show their new skill set. I would always check back in about a month later for sure, like a formal more sit down, like let's sit down and discuss how it's been going for you. You might find that they have a bunch of questions that haven't been answered, and you might find that their training isn't going so well. And so you find what the resistances are, and then you can go ahead and move forward from that point. So onboarding process, very important. Orientation guide, regulations, whatever your standards are, shop rules, all kinds of things. The habits that get established on day one are key and crucial, and say everything about how that relationship is going to go. But it starts with you. You're the boss, you're the employer. You have to be the one to make it a point. So if it matters to you, it's going to matter to them. And so at that point, if you take the time to talk to them about how important dress code is, how important customer service is, how important cleanliness is, what your expectations are, then you follow through on that again throughout the week, in 2 weeks, in a month, over and over. They'll see what you're all about. And then you'll know too that you communicated the right message to them. It's just also a very good time just to ask them just one simple question. If you've answered all of their questions, or if they have any questions about anything whatsoever, and then you can leave it open. If they don't have them, let them know, assure them that they can come to you at any time with an open door policy and talk to you about their training or any concerns that have come up in the workplace. And also, your reputation lies there too. If other staff members see that you care, and anyone that comes through your shop knows that you care about who you're hiring, it's going to show. It's going to show. So the time spent with individuals from point A to point Z is super important. All of these things matter. All of these things are things that you need to do as a business owner. And for you as an employer, I find that it's really important to become familiar with your labor laws, with your state regulations, with the federal, national regulations. Very important to know, right? Because you don't want to find yourself doing something that's illegal and get yourself in hot water. Respect yourself, respect the workplace, respect your staff members, respect the public. Very important. And then comes the training. Oh boy, the training. Have yourself an idea of how long the training should last, right? If you have videos to show them, that's good. If you have a staff member that can train, that's good too. You don't want to be doing it all. But I always found it important that day one, maybe even day 2 or 3, I would spend a lot of time working side by side with the new staff member. Why? This way I was sure of what was communicated to them, right? Sure, there might be a video. Sure, there might be another staff member, but then that just becomes a copy of a copy of a copy, right? But the words out of your mouth are always going to have the same tone, right? It matters to me. So it matters to me. So I'm going to deliver it that way. And you know that how many times you've said it to them, and you can cover everything. If you don't get everything on day 1, you have day 2, day 3, week 1, whatever it is, to cover those things. And again, you're going to sit down with them a few more times and 30 days later to discuss their training, see if there's anything that was left out, see if there's anything that they're struggling with. So I found that when you spend those first few days working with them and showing them everything, first of all, it shows that you care a lot. It shows that you care a lot about them, about your business, and yourself, and the customers. So spending time training them, you get to show them everything. Again, you got to cut out the time. You got to cut out the time. I would always add an extra staff member if I was able to, even if it was just for a couple of hours, so that I can spend some quiet time in the morning with them to discuss the process, discuss their role, allow them to make mistakes, let them know that it was okay to make mistakes, because a lot of times they'd feel so bad if they made a mistake, and let them know it's part of the training process. Then you could show them the pitfalls, the do's and don'ts. So it's very important. So you select the candidate, you interview the candidate, you onboard them, and then you spend time training them. And after 1 month, you sit down and you talk to them, and what you're going to have in front of you is a very happy staff member that's been trained well initially and is off to a good start. And once you let them go so that they can function independently and you release them to the public, you're going to see that the person that you spent time with selecting, interviewing, onboarding, hiring, getting feedback from, giving feedback, results in a diamond employee, a diamond staff member, which is what you wanted to begin with, right? So it's never easy. It takes time, but the more time you put into it, the more benefit you get out of it. Everyone benefits from it. So showing them that I cared and that it was my standard to do things the right way, let these new employees know that that's what was expected of them too. So hey everybody, I hope this video was helpful for you. I just want to share a few tips, a few things that I learned along the way that I found very helpful to my core operation, and I hope it can help you as well. All right, so that's all for now. Take care, and I'll see you next time.